So hi guys and welcome to the newest Shroo's gaming news. Wow, that rhymes pretty great. That's like fudge. Yeah. Fudge. Fudge. Yeah. You really don't like being on camera, don't you? Yeah, so this time I will be talking about the Dark Souls 3 leak and discussing about the screenshots and stuff. So stay tuned. I love leaks. I love leaks. Yeah, hey, really, don't leak. Don't leak. Okay. So first I wanna just break some basic news, basic info on the leak. It was leaked, well, not leaked by, just reported by first by the No, which is a Rooster Teeth, not company, but like a channel on YouTube and such. Like, if someone had said 3 years ago that Rooster Teeth will be the ones that leak Dark Souls 3, I would have been very surprised. So before I say anything more about this leak, I'm fairly sure that this is a legit leak. I mean, everything that we've seen, from the concept art to the facts that we know, it seems super legit. I mean, the screenshots are legit, it has to be. Only thing that could maybe be fake from this leak could maybe be the information that we have been given. But apart from that, all the screenshots look super legit. It's gonna be Dark Souls 3. So I'm gonna discuss about this, and I'm gonna begin with the elephant in the room, so to say. So it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One in 2016, and the PC version is negotiable. So that's the elephant in the room. I'm gonna just paste this out and say every single game of Dark Souls except Demon Souls I have played on the PC, and I love the PC for many reasons, because it just makes my work easier. I like Dark Souls games, I like to record them, I like to stream them. So PC is just my platform. It's just so easy to do everything on the PC. I don't really like that console stuff. So if this turns out to be a console exclusive, I am going to be pissed. Just throwing that out there. And I'm not the only one. It would be a dick move from Software. But honestly, let's be completely honest. Dark Souls 2 sold so many copies on the PC. That would be incredibly stupid. And considering it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One, I don't see that being a one console exclusive. So at that point, I don't really see the points in excluding the PC gamers. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that is bullshit, that it's not gonna come to PC. What I think may be happening is that first we'll get the PS4 and Xbox One version, and later on we will get the PC port. That's what happened to Dark Souls 2, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, let's be honest, Dark Souls 2's, well, the best version of Dark Souls 2 is the PC version. That's just not negotiable. So yeah, I don't see a problem with this unless they somehow made it a console exclusive, which would suck. And even though I love the Souls games, Bloodborne couldn't get me to buy a PS4. So even Dark Souls 3, okay, that's gonna be tough. I love these games. I mean, I've invested like freaking how many hours to Dark Souls 2? Freaking 400 hours. So yeah, if it's a console exclusive, it's gonna be a big FU to the freaking PC gamers. It's nuts. Hopefully it won't happen. Let's just leave it at that. So one thing that was also said in the leak is that Dark Souls 3 will have 10 classes. I'll be honest, at this part, I'm gonna say I mean, it's great that they're adding classes and such. I mean, variation is always good. But I found that Dark Souls games don't really rely on classes a lot. Considering you can start as one thing at the beginning of the game and become something entirely different at the end of the game. And that's easy. And you can, like, mix your classes up, so to say. You can be someone who uses swords and magic. But to me, personally, I say that classes don't really matter. And that's my final point on that. So it was also said in the leak that Dark Souls 3 will have 45 new enemies. Compared to like something like Dark Souls 1, that's not a lot, considering it had like around maybe... I think the exact number was 97. Someone fix me if I say that wrong. But it had a lot of enemies. But then again, this could be something like they're bringing back old enemies into the new game. It has happened before, so it's entirely possible that that is the case. So let's say, well, they're not obviously gonna bring every enemy back into the game from previous games, but let's say if they brought freaking maybe 50 enemies from Dark Souls 1 and added them to the new enemies in Dark Souls 3, that would conclude in 95 enemies, so that's not bad at all. And they say 45 new enemies, so it could be that they're bringing back old enemies from other games. Hopefully so, because 45 new enemies does not sound like a lot, if that's all that there is. So what they said also on the leak is that there will be 50 new bosses. And they said no repeats on the bosses. Now, what I grabbed from this is that 15 is not very much. It's actually... I really don't recall how many bosses there were in like Dark Souls 2, but it does not seem like a lot. And they specifically say no repeats. So whatever that means is weird. But I'm thinking that they are saying with this is that you can rekindle the bonfire and do the boss again at a higher difficulty. Now, I don't know why they would do that, because I think it was okay in Dark Souls 2 and 1. I don't understand why they would take that out. I mean, this also could mean that you can help someone who hasn't done the boss yet. You can help them do the boss. That's what it also could mean, so you can't repeat the boss. And that makes a bit more sense, because you could totally boost someone through a boss in Dark Souls 2. That being said, I'm hoping for that this is gonna be fixed in some way. I mean, 15 does not sound like a lot, but then again, there's this heat up function that was mentioned later in the leak. I will get to that later. But yeah, there will be 60 minutes of cutscenes that are in-engine. So basically, let's say, well, Dark Souls 2, for example, had a lot of like those scenes. Not 60 minutes. No, not even close. I'm trying to find... Well, okay, the boss intros were a cutscene that it's in-engine. Like, every time you saw a new boss, it was a cutscene in-engine that you saw before you fought with the boss. I'll try to find something that will show you what kind of scene that is. So there will be 60 minutes of that, which is a lot for once in this game. In the leak video from the No, they talked about maybe having more story, maybe telling the story at accessible amounts with cutscenes. I wholeheartedly don't believe that that is the case with this game, and I wholeheartedly hope that that is not what From Software is doing, because one of the better things about the Souls games is the story, is the ambiguity. It's the you really don't know what's happening. It's all speculation. And there are like people like Vatividia making these amazing videos of what it could be. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this is not story oriented in like, I don't even know a good example, because none of the games in the Souls series have been like, I don't know, Order freaking whatever that game is. I don't believe that this is gonna be bad. Just throwing it out there, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be so story oriented that it's actually gonna eat up 60 minutes of in-game cutscenes. In the leak, they also said that there are 12 new areas in the game. Now, we can compare this to like Dark Souls 1, which had 32 areas in-game. Not a lot again, but hey, guys, Dark Souls 1 had 32, but they really varied in size and length and difficulty. I'm thinking that there are 12 new areas in Dark Souls 3, but they are longer. There's something involving exploration, maybe something that is not something that we saw like in Dark Souls 2. Because let's be honest about Dark Souls 2, it was kind of linear. Most of the time you knew in Dark Souls 2 where to go, how to progress. And I'm hoping that this, with 12 new areas, means that they're gonna maybe expand a bit on that, not have it be like a tube that you're running through. I'm really hoping for that. And also, they say that 12 new areas, it could mean that it's like 12 new huge areas with like smaller areas within them. I'm fairly sure that is not how you pronounce area. It almost sounds like arena, but yeah, I don't speak English as my native tongue. So the next thing that they said in the leak is that it will have around the same amount of content of Dark Souls 1, which is a good thing considering, I mean, Dark Souls, I think most people prefer Dark Souls 1 over Dark Souls 2. PvP aspects, I really like Dark Souls 2 more, but everything else is better in Dark Souls 1, in my opinion. So this is a good thing, in my opinion, and I think the amount of content in Dark Souls 1 is acceptable. Except, of course, as a game, you kinda want it to have more and more and more. But then again, Dark Souls 2 had DLCs. I'm pretty sure this will also have DLC, so there's that. Now, I'm thinking most of you haven't seen any of my previous videos or Twitch streams on Dark Souls 2, but for those that have seen me play, they know that I'm a huge geek for PvP. It's my favorite part in every Souls game, has been. So yeah, this new thing from the leak is called Sacrifice Ceremony, which is a PvP mode, and it has such features as you can drag bodies around, then sacrifice them to join another player's world. Sacrificing puts a bounty on your head. This will change your game, save points, and enemies can be moved. So I'm gonna just say that this is gonna be extremely hard to speculate what this actually is, considering we have not seen any gameplay, anything from the game from this perspective. So this is all up in the air, what this actually is. But what it sounds like to me is like, in Watch Dogs, we had the freaking, you could invade someone else's world and basically fuck with their game. And as we all know, well, Demon Souls was one of the first ones to ever do that, and Dark Souls really elevated on that idea. So I think this is something completely, well, not completely, I mean, this is just furthering the idea of fucking with someone else's world. And I think sacrificing someone else's body has this kind of like teabagging kind of effect. I mean, like, I sacrificed you. That sounded dumb. Yeah, I'm gonna have to elaborate on this when I actually know what this is, but I am so excited for new kinds of PvP. I mean, this actually does sound kind of cool. And they said that sacrificing puts a bounty on your head. That is so fun. I like that idea. Because Dark Souls had this, like, I mean, there's this thing. In Dark Souls you gain, like, is it called karma? I think it's karma in Dark Souls 2. And the worse you are as a player, the more you get invaded by these blue spirits. So it kinda sounds like that. It kinda sounds like that. That being said, as we see these PvP things, this could be a new mode in PvP, or this could be the PvP. And if this is the PvP, I mean, there's nothing else in the game PvP-wise. That would mean that there will be no longer red-eye orbs and all that stuff. So we'll just have to see. This is, at this point, there's no real evidence of any of this, so speculating is so hard. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Also, this will change your game. Save points and enemies can be moved. Would sound like the newest Fable game. It's called Fable Legends, I think, where you can. There's one guy that is crafting your world that everyone else has to get through. I mean, this is super interesting and my favorite part of the leak, without a doubt. I'm all for new PvP. And now to the final part of the leak, excluding the screenshots, which I will be analyzing later. So this is the final part of the leak, and it says, heat up, will change boss battles. The appearance will change in bosses, and the attacks, movesets, etc. will change. So this is basically like a world tendency in Demon Souls. Yeah, it's in Demon Souls. Yeah, I think it's a bit like renovation on that side, and I think this is interesting. Of course, we have not seen a lot. Except there's this picture with one boss as a normal dude, and then he changes into like this, well, demon, let's say. It's, once again, it's difficult to speculate what this actually is, but I'm gonna expect that this is something like you can beat the boss 2 times. You can first beat them on normal level, and then beat them later as some demon or something. And of course, the demon version, the heated up version, I don't know why they call that, it kinda sounds weird. It sounds like the heated up version will of course give you better loot, better souls, I mean more souls. Well, it's actually a better soul. Okay, fuck it, you get the idea. And it's interesting in my opinion, and that they're adding something like this to the game. Overall, I want to say about this leak is that I'm really happy that they're innovating on the Dark Souls games, because I think they heard everyone complain about Dark Souls 2, its problems, so I think this is all good that I'm seeing here. The next thing I will do is see the screenshots, and I will be analyzing them and seeing if anything lore-wise or other like gameplay-wise will pop up from there. Alright, so now on to the pictures that were in the leak. Now, of course, these are all from in-game footage, but there's some things that I want to mention just overall. This is the first picture that was in the leak, and from this we can see that there's definitely this kind of sun-like thing in the distance, and we can see it. It almost looks like it's kind of melting or something in the horizon. This really has this kind of feeling of what was it called? It's Dragon Shrine in Dark Souls 2. It really reminds me of that because the color palette is very similar, and there are these things flying in the distance. Are those dragons or not? Remains to be seen. In my opinion, those do not look like dragons. The tails are too long, but it is definitely similar to Dragon Shrine in Dark Souls 2. The other thing that we definitely see from this picture is that, well, first we see our probably playable character. Would expect that to be him or her. And what we see here is that he has one sword on his hand and another sword on his back. So what this means is that the Dark Souls games usually, when you have two weapons, you always have two weapons. Well, not always, you can have two weapons. When you're not equipping the other one just kind of disappears. So you might have this giant hammer, you just kind of pull it from your, well, anus. Just, yeah. But this means basically that now that you have weapons, you can't hide them. So you can't have a surprise buckler, for example. In Dark Souls 2, in the PvP, people could have like surprise weapons that they use for executions, or maybe they have a parrying shield that they used that was not there when the battle begun, so to say, because they've hit it, and that was a tactic. Still is a tactic. So this looks like they've taken that out. It's interesting. I'm still. I don't know if I liked it or hated it. It was there and there, but we will see. Another thing that we see in this shot is that there are these like weird arches in the distance. What they are is well, I don't really know. That's the thing. We definitely see like ruins, and there's a city on fire below. It's a really cool shot, by the way. This could be a previous area from another game, if we expect that this is like Dark Souls 2 did with Dark Souls 1, that you kind of jump a lot of time ahead, and all the other places that were in Dark Souls 1 are now in ruins, destroyed and barely recognizable. I really have not seen this kind of architecture in other Dark Souls games, so it could be that this is a completely new area. There is definitely a tower back there, tower kind of castle kind of looking thing. It really reminds me of more like something out of Bloodborne, to be honest. And that's one of the theories that has been thrown around, that maybe Dark Souls and Bloodborne are in the same universe, and Dark Souls 3 will explore that. That being said, I myself don't believe that. I don't see that working at all, and I kind of think that's even a bad idea. But we'll see. That architecture, it kind of looks like an area in Dark Souls 1, actually. When you overlook from Dark Souls 1, what's the area called? Anerlondo. You can see the houses and such from a cliff or something. It's been a while since I played the game, so in the next picture we see some similar architecture. Definitely looks like an Orlando a bit like Yarnham from Bloodborne. Yeah, I kinda tend to think this is more like an Orlando than anything else. Many people have said that this looks exactly like Yarnham. I beg to differ. It looks way more like an Orlando architecture to me. I mean, look at those tops of the buildings. It's like spiky. It's way more like an Orlando in my opinion. But hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so we'll see when the game comes out. In the next picture we see that there definitely is another sword on his back, and that looks like the knight set from Dark Souls 1. I'm kinda... This is one... Oh man, I can't remember if it's from the first or the second game. Sorry. But we'll definitely see that he has a buckler, not a buckler, just a shield on his left arm, and what is that? Is that a mace? I don't know, looks kinda like an axe. It's really hard to say what it is, cause, no, I think it's... Oh, it's a sword. I'm an idiot, sorry. It kinda blends in with the freaking shadowy statue behind it, so... Yeah, he has two weapons, and the second weapon is on his back, so you can definitely see what your opponent is wearing in Dark Souls 3. At least that's what I take from these pictures. In the next picture we see this boss. There's a lot of like these spectral swords. One theory that I saw on Reddit is that these will be the new bloodstains. And that would make sense, but that looks kinda confusing here. At least in my opinion, this looks more confusing than bloodstains. I mean, you can barely see bloodstains, and you can definitely see the spectral swords here. Once again, whether that is the case remains to be seen. In the middle of the picture we do see, though, this boss, definitely a boss, kind of slumbering like, oh my god, Sir Alone, from one of the DLCs in Dark Souls 2. In the next picture we see this praise. That's definitely a praise from Dark Souls. That looks, in the middle, that looks something like, in the first Dark Souls we had this ending boss, Manus. That seems like something from that. It looks like the Abyss thing. But yeah, it's too early to say anything. In the next picture we see definitely this boss realized he's running towards the protagonist, so to say. And protagonist, once again, has a sword on his back. Yeah, pretty straightforward here. Later on, you can see this boss again, but he will be turned into the freaking heat up mode. But let's get to that later. This is Japanese, a lot of Japanese. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward in the HUD sense. That is a knight set, definitely from Dark Souls. It looks exactly like the freaking dude on the cover of Dark Souls 1. And yeah, what we can see from the health bar and the stamina bar is that it's way more like Dark Souls 1 than Dark Souls 2. It's way more blocky, and it looks exactly like, almost exactly like Dark Souls 1. That being said, next to the health bar and stamina bar we do not see a humanity counter. So that's to be seen, if that is in the game. At the right hand corner we have the soul count, like all the Dark Souls games. It's pretty straightforward. And also one thing. As we can see here, there is definitely a bonfire here. So bonfires will be in the game if you did not expect that. I have no idea why you would not expect that. It's pretty straightforward. Once again, this is a very Bloodborne picture. It looks like Yarnham. I'm gonna say that out loud because it does. That's the basics of it. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say about this except yeah, it could mean that this game has dynamic lighting, different atmospheres. Considering the earlier picture we saw, like had like this same kind of area Actually, it looks exactly like the area. Yeah, it looks exactly like the area, but it's in the cover of night. So it remains to be seen if Dark Souls 3 has this kind of weather thing where they change weathers. But yeah, we'll see, we'll see. In the next picture we see this kind of Anor Londo kind of area. There are those drakes flying in the air. Those are not dragons, they are too long, too like... they look like worms flying. Serpents, I don't know. Looks like serpents. And then we have this kind of female character here that looks like one of the oh man, I'm gonna butcher this word. It's Lois. Lois Knight. So definitely looks like Lois Knight armor on this chick. So that's interesting. Maybe this game has some connection to the Dark Souls 2 DLCs. We'll see. And here we have the freaking sacrificing PvP thing. In this, there's the main character is sacrificing someone. So yeah, this is interesting. It's even though we have a picture of it, it does not say anything new about the game mode. Once again, we'll have to see. And I want to remind you that all these pictures are from the know, so there's that kind of block thing there. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing here. This is just an area within a castle. I think it's pretty straightforward. We see that there are undeads, well, undead, and Estus Flask is in this game, so very Dark Souls style. And that looks like the freaking... It's not called the Buster Sword in Dark Souls 2, but I love to call it the Buster Sword. It looks like that, or it's the broken down sword that you get in the beginning of the game. In the background we can see definitely some... it looks like the thing from Ulasil in Dark Souls 1. In my opinion, I really don't remember what it's called, but it looks like the Ulasil DLC. With menace and such. And undeads and on the roof, so basic Dark Souls thing. This game really does seem more like Dark Souls 1 than 2, and I'm not sure if I'm happy with that. Yes, you can throw people in the air. No, not throw, lunge people in the air with your sword. That being said, we can see that the player is holding a small sword, not a ultra great sword, so that could mean that there's this kind of style of combat that you can do where you use like smaller swords and lunge people, and that seems interesting. Now this is probably confirmed that you can crouch and crawl. No, I'm just kidding. This looks weird. I don't know why they published this. Here we can see the boss heated up, so to say. And we see the spectral swords, and yeah, it actually reminds me of Menace in Dark Souls 1. He has that like huge arm, kinda ape-like figure. Well, not ape. They said that he looks like an otter demon in the No video, so yeah, could be interesting, could be interesting. And now we get to the concept art. People are looking at these tablets and saying it's Hebrew in them. Could be we had some tablets similar to this in Demon's Souls, in the battleground where you had to shoot the dragon from the air. It's not a, it was like a manta ray, not even the dragon. Guys, I did not play much of Demon's Souls, sorry. So yeah, now that we get to the concept art part of the images, I can just say that these are just there to give you an image of what the areas in the game are. I don't think you can really get anything gameplay wise from these pictures. The next is like this, well, you can see it. And I'm pretty happy that this is very different from every other Souls game I've seen. It's not dark, it's very white overall, and I'm really happy that this kind of thing is in the game. hopefully is in the game, because this looks cool. It looks like a blend between Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne, in my opinion. I mean, there's no denying that Dark Souls 3 is gonna take influence from Bloodborne, because it's the same director and mostly the same team, I'm guessing. More concept art. These concept art things, really, there's not much to say about this. I mean, yeah, looks like Assassin's Creed, to be honest. But I'm really excited for this kind of like amphitheater look. It's not even an amphitheater. It's I just don't know the word for it because I'm not an architecture nerd. And yeah, that's all the concept art and pictures. My final thoughts on this is that I am extremely excited for Dark Souls 3, and I hope to God that that game is good. I mean, I trust the makers a lot, and as long as the PvP is as good as Dark Souls 2, I believe in the game. And many people have said that Bloodborne's single player, so to say, is the best in the Souls games. So I have a lot of trust in this company. One thing I'm hoping does not happen is that we will be getting a new Dark Souls or a Bloodborne every year, because annualizing a game like this is not always the best move, considering games take time, games take massive effort, so annualizing it could break it, in the sense like no one loves Assassin's Creed anymore, so yeah, but remains to be seen once again. There is no doubt here that we are going to get something out of Dark Souls 3 at E3 this year, so I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned on my channel if you want to see more stuff like this, and if you want to see my E3 coverage, I will be doing it, and also a pre-E3 video is coming up. I'm just trying to find some time to shoot it. I've got it all planned out in my book here. I don't know why I need to show it to you. I really don't need to show it to you. Yeah, I got my E3 planned out. So, thank you for watching, everyone. If you think I can improve on these videos somehow, just tell me in the comments. This is the first video I will publish with my new mic setup. If you don't like it, tell me. I can make changes to it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Tell me how you feel about Dark Souls 3. Come on, guys. I mean, yeah, this is gonna be something amazing. What it will be is so interesting to me. And I love that they're changing things. So, if you're hyped up for Dark Souls 3, tell me in the comments. Also, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. So, that was the longest outro I've ever done, so I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye!
Now you're going to die.